points, got the stuff, y'all gotta come. Yeah, I mean, if we had these really like long term sustainable brands, yeah, shit, like you talk the way I do, but I'm just saying, right? Like there is a lot of time and effort that one must put into considering what does my customer want? What is it that they really need? And I don't think we do that enough, Toyin.
Absolutely. And that's why this is a journey. And in an oversimplified way, I say branding 101 is answering three questions. Who are you? What do you do? What can you do for me? That's the simplified. I have a month-long class on branding, but I crystallize it into those three questions. They sound simple, but once you sit with it, you realize that the first question goes into identity. Who are you? And one of the things I also do in my school is that the very first journey, the very first week in the 10-week accelerator, we go into mindset coaching. The reason is because if you don't know who you are, if you're not intimately connected with your own identity, it becomes extremely challenging for you to explain it to the world. Also, if you don't do that work to unwrap and unpack who you are, you may be branding the wrong identity. You may be branding a cat when you need to be branding a lion or a lioness. Is that going deep into the self, right? The mindset of the founder, the story of the founder, the story of the creator. Who are you? And then what do you do goes to why are you dedicating yourself to this work? Intentionality. Why are you the best person to do this work? What led you down? What journey have you been on? What led you to choose this path? Why did you pick this subject to dedicate yourself? Why did you pick to this problem to create a solution for? That's the second question. And the third one definitely is that the first two questions is about you. The last question is, okay, now what? You are the best thing since sliced bread. Good for you. How does that relate to me? What can you do for me? So you realize that those three questions, they're extremely powerful. They go to the identity of the founder, of the creator, of the entrepreneur, of the business owner, of the service provider, right? And also the second one goes to intentionality. Clarity of intention is important to building trust. And then the very last one is, okay, how are you bringing all of those things together? How are you bringing your story, your intentions to serve me? What does this mean for me, my own journey? Because at the end of the day, if all you're doing is only about you, then nobody else cares. We don't really care. We don't really care. So that's an oversimplified way I tell people, start there. Start there for sure. And once you attempt to sit with yourself to answer those questions, you begin to see that at the end of the day, it starts with you and then it ends with your customers. The other thing,
Oh yeah, man,
go on, go
fall in
on.
love with that. Yeah, I mean, fall in love with like this journey of discovering you and discovering what you can do for others. And it's beautiful. It's like you don't have to compete with anyone. That's such a drag. I don't know. I come into spaces and whatever, it's like I love having conversations and, whatever various topics it may be. And it's just like the people that, want to seem important and whatever. And it's like, dude, whatever. I don't care for that, and I dip out. But like when it's really beautiful conversation like this, where it's like you're talking about something that you equally love with other people, then it's just organic. It's beautiful, people then want to learn, they want to be around that kind of energy. That's so I have a background in upscale hospitality management prior to like going into full-time entrepreneurship, and I loved it because I was able to like organize teams of my choosing and train them under my understandings of what hospitality is really all about. And I mean, we're like serving millionaire billionaire types, and it was just a lot of fun for me. I think it was more fun because I was making a lot of money doing it, but like the stress of it and all that, like I could take it on the chin, and like it was just a lot of fun for me. So I incorporated that into like my entrepreneurial venture, because most of what we do is like the social outreach, is like community education, community give back, that type of stuff. But it's branding and advertising, everything we do, but we do it through events, activities, and it's a ton of fun. Um, but ultimately, I had to fall in love with me, and I had to fall in love with service to other people. And I don't think a lot of us do that. I didn't initially. I just was like in love with the moolah, the cheddar, the cheese, the bread. That's right. I was money motivated guy, but ultimately I like learned through great guidance. I've got wonderful mentorship and great quality friends like Rob down there. What up, Rob? And great connections. With people like Toya. You have to understand that like it's not about you. No matter how wonderful you think your freaking whatever is, it's not about you. Forget about it, as they say. If you think that you got the most banging whatever out there in the market, high five. Great job, King. Great job, Queen. Wonderful. But guess what? If people ain't buying it, don't matter. So ultimately, like, you got to consider other people, right? Like, if you don't consider other people and what you can do to be of service to other people, they will not come to you. They will not buy from you. Then like you get frustrated because like, oh my god, I'm supposed to be a millionaire, blah blah. No, you didn't put other people's interests first. You didn't put other people's wants and needs first. That's why they didn't purchase from you. That's why they didn't connect with your brand, baby. Come on. But Toyin, it's hard though. It's a hard skill to develop, to like want for others.
I've been teaching lately about wealth creator versus content creator. The reason is because mindset, approach, right? Discipline, right? Are you long term oriented or are you short term oriented? Because the vision, right, and the mission of a wealth creator is completely different than most content creator. As example, as a wealth creator, your mission is to create assets. It's about equity. I say content is not king in the world of wealth creation. Equity, assets, ownership. That's what we're going after. That's what I'm going after. Right? And I also put sorry?
Yes. No, you're so right. It's so funny that you say that, okay? I just got a text. So I still have a corporate gig. I just got a text from my boss, because I manage the rest of like our management team, and it was just talking about that. It said extremely important that we focus on customer service. We just received a couple of complaints for people being snappy and not friendly. What is it? Yeah, it was people checking into the stadium that were like going for a sales walkthrough. We're in corporate. In entrepreneurship, I'm a sweetheart. Like, I love being that, But in corporate, Jesus, I swear to God, all these people understand. It's like, yo, listen, I'm your superior. And then it's like the what's it called? The tone shifts.
It's a,
You get what I'm saying?
what you're going into also touches a subject that I teach on about mindset adjustment, employee mindset versus entrepreneur mindset, right? Is that I call it the lion in the zoo versus the lion that is free in the wild, right? The skill set, the mindset, the mentality, right? The zeal of pursuit, the hunger, how you show up, and for what you show up will be different. And let me quickly go back to something extremely important about branding. So, Branding 101, and I want to welcome everyone listening. Thank you so much for being here. Please do feel free to join us on stage. You also use this chat area to share your thoughts, ask questions as well. Let's make this interactive. And I want to thank my friend here on stage. Lovely Ajay. I know you're listening. Oh my, and thank you, my dear Zach. It's such a delight to be having this engagement with you. So let me share one major thing about assets, ownership, equity, right? As a wealth creator, Most content creators do not build brands, they sell content. Okay? But as a wealth creator, your brand is an asset. Your brand is where equity, your brand is where value stays, not just in your product or services. The Nike brand will be valued more than their certain issue. Okay? Is that your relationship with the market stays at the brand level. Your product and services have a shelf life, they come and go, they die. IBM 20 years ago, we don't know what they were selling, but today we still know their brand, we still respect the brand, we still know what they stand for. Because once you select your brand and your positioning and your promise and all, right, you realize that the product and services you need to design to fulfill your mission you have to be flexible with that. If your promise is to be the number one search engine in the world and you're Google, and here comes AI, listen, you've got to go back to the drawing board, because if your promise is we want to be the number one search engine in the world, and here comes another one beating you in terms of technology, you've got to go back and play that game, speed to market, because the market is not loyal to your product and services. But we can extend our loyalty. We can stretch ourselves to your brand. Remember BlackBerry. We so much loved BlackBerry. We never wanted BlackBerry to fail, right? We gave BlackBerry our hearts. Even the president, the then president of the United States, listen, he was a BlackBerry guy. But BlackBerry failed us. The brand failed us because guess what? The products did not level up. Our love remained with the brand. But we are never loyal to products that do not serve us anymore. That's something.
Hey man, the market whips your ass when you get lazy.
Right, but here's the key. Most people on this app are so much married to the product and services, like I sell these widgets, I sell that widget, but they are not busy building equity and relationship with at the brand level. So guess what's going to happen? They will continue to be on the hamster wheel, trying to ship products and services that nobody cares about. Because guess what? Part of the power of branding is that humans love story. We buy stories, we sell stories, we invest in stories, we want to own stories. Why? Because stories occupy space in our hearts and in our mind. All the technical stuff you're talking about in terms of all these amazing things you can spin around and do for people, they are not memorable. We do not remember them. We just go from room to room, listening to different types of people. But the people who actually stick with us, right, they share the story, they shifted us, they impacted us. They told us something we've never heard before. They made us think.
I'm gonna give you one more. I'm gonna give you one more on that. People like to be a part of stories. It doesn't even have to be about them. Isn't that nuts? We like to be a part of stuff.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I love that. We definitely. So one of the things I talk about when I'm teaching sales about the psychology side of things, human behavior, on and on, is that don't question it. Don't judge us. Just seek to understand humanity. Because people get into trouble when they attach negativity to this understanding, right? Or, and newcomers in the game go, oh, how do I need to brand? Why do I need to tell my story? Oh, I'm shy. I'm this. Guess what? It's not about you. The world wants what they want. As humans, we love what we want, right? Our job as an entrepreneur is to study and seek to understand and use the knowledge you observe to advance the message you're trying to deliver. It's not your job to judge your clients and say they are right or they are wrong. Your job is to understand them, is to seek to understand them and meet them based on what you need, what their needs are, that you have the capacity of solving. And I want to welcome Rob to the stage.
So what I was going to say was, people don't know how much you know until they know how much you care. So by serving others with passion, enthusiasm, vision, and love, and showing the value, then they see how much you care. and what and once you've broken that barrier, shall I say, then then everything becomes a lot easier because they already hopefully trust you and respect you. At least they're willing to listen to you, because they know you've demonstrated whatever criteria you have for them to 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 assist them, and Mr. Zach demonstrates that expertly when he does his branding stuff.
I love it. Thank you so much.
Oh yeah, I
Yeah.
appreciate you, man. It's years and years of like putting other people first, dude. Of which like there was years and years prior to that of which I put myself first. And the balance, guys. Whenever I talk about now, it's like putting other people first. Some people misunderstand it, like you don't have to put yourself first, of course. But like when your cup is full, you need to pour it elsewhere for you to become more. So don't get it twisted. Fill your cup, but like have it run over. Have so much. Live life in abundance where you're looking at other people and like, yo,
Wow.
I could potentially do something for you. Let me just listen. Let me just be present. Let me be there. You feel me, Toyin?
Right. I want to also thank Rob for what he just shared. And I know, here's the thing, that what we think to be fundamental for so many people, they're not there yet. But Rob, one of the things you said, right, which is very, very important, and I want to point out how long it takes to actually build that trust you're talking about, right? Which is why many people may not want to do what it takes to actually have a brand established, right? So how long does it take for your brand to be established, right? For your brand to be secured in their identity, to gain space over time. These things happen over time. It doesn't happen overnight, right? And only brands who want to last, right, will invest in not just creating a logo and all of these things, but the consistency of messaging, right, of showing up in the marketplace, right? Because trust me, we actually trust people we see every day because you become more familiar. You're no longer a stranger to them, right? So these things require so much investment because so there's another program. They're all connected. There are 10 subjects I teach, but one of it, when I go into marketing and content, is that certain piece of content needs to be purely dedicated towards brand positioning, not just selling. But most people dedicate 100% of their time just trying to sell. And guess what? They will continue to sell, right? They will attempt to sell. And that stuff becomes very, very painful for them because nobody's listening. But when you draw people in with your story, and then I also talk about magnetic messaging, right? Is that we are drawn based on value. What's your value? Why are you doing what you're doing? What's your passion? What's your intention? Right? Why do you want to cure ABCD? Why have you dedicated your time, energy, resources to entrepreneurship? What does entrepreneurship mean for you? Why is it so important? I mean, this morning I was sending a letter out to a government official, and I pretty much, at the end of that sentence, I had to close it out with, listen, my entrepreneurship academy, I believe, right, is going to fulfill this mission. It's going to serve this purpose, right? It's going to do A, B, C, D. This is what I believe. People want to know, what do you believe? Right? Because if you don't believe what you're doing, why are you putting your time, energy, and resources in it? And why are you compelling or persuading people to pay attention to you? We don't care. We don't care if you don't believe in what you're doing. Because it takes commitment, dedication for us to actually do this work, right? So, but it takes time. It takes time. And people behave like they don't have time, but guess what? They are putting that same time in the wrong spaces, because you get back the time you put into branding. You know why? You're going to save time in selling, because once you succeed in branding, it's easier to sell, right? Because at that point, you're in community, you're in conversation, people get you, people understand you, they lean in, they want to know more. And guess what? They themselves will ask, now, where can I connect better with you? Where can I learn more? Show me what's the next steps. They will ask you those questions the moment they believe and trust you, right? The moment they are moved, because there's the thinking part, there's the emotional part. We want people to move, but humans don't move in the direction of something they do not believe. So people are trying to skip steps. You're saying, buy now, buy this. You're asking people to take action. But guess what? We have to think and then feel. Emotion drives action. But if you don't give someone something to think about that stimulates a feeling, they are not moved to act in your direction. I think you wanted to say something. Go ahead, please, Zach.
Oh, no. I was more agreeing than anything.
And it's all about being genuine and connecting with people and being vulnerable and not caring what people think when you're vulnerable. Now obviously, there's limits to everything, but when you're connecting with someone in a clubhouse room and they're talking about whatever they're talking about, if they're talking about, I don't know, something, and you can relate to them, and you have something in common, that's how you connect with people, with things in common, or making a caring and loving thought, a comment, something that shows people that you care. So that establishes the trust and the connection and all the stuff which I spoke about earlier. And also, one more thing is that it's about how you present things. If I'm talking like this, no one's gonna listen because I'm a monotone. So you have to have some energy and some passion and some enthusiasm as well. I am complete, but I'm never complete because I'm always expanding.
Absolutely. And the way I say it is that, we're looking for people who value our value. And I'm looking for people who care that I care. When I talk about my, crafting the magnetic message, really, I don't want anybody that will devalue or do not value what I've created, my creation. Because I've dedicated my time, energy, and resources to creating space, to educating people, to inspire, like all of these things, my books, right? This is my body of work, right? Is that you, as the creator, you must first take pride in your work. And you also want to then go in search of people that you can share value, that share your value system. You know why? When it is time to buy and sell, when we talk, I also teach the history of money, value exchange, used to be traded by barter, on and on, is that the transaction side of all of these things is a value exchange. So when people do not value, those who do not value your creation, your value, will not use their own value, their money, to acquire your value. This is one of the biggest struggles of first-time entrepreneurs. They're not wrapping their head around it, that anybody you're in communication with and you can sense that they do not value you the way, listen, walk away. Because at the end of the day, people only acquire and buy things they value. And in fact, your value needs to be a little bit in perception, be more valuable than the money you're asking for. That's another thing I teach when it's time to, like when you're creating your pricing strategy. A winning pricing strategy, you need to consider human behavior, that we all want a deal. We all love a deal, right? So you actually pack on value, right? You create incredible value and then you price it at a point where people believe, you know what? The value is greater than the price, right? We never want perceived value to be less than price, right? So the story around, say, for example, a painting, right? A luxury, right? The story in of itself is so incredibly valuable in our minds. And it's just us spending money to participate, to be a part of that. So that's important when it comes to pricing strategy, because that's another subject we cover. Because you can use your brand to establish value, but many times people also fail, right, to determine the value they want to exchange for it, right? So you present your own value, and then you're telling the market, do you value it enough? Do you desire it enough to want to acquire it with your own value, which is money? Money is valuable to them. Your product and services is value to you, right? And then the transaction is the exchange of value, your value for my value. So that's why nothing happens when you are engaging with people that do not value your value. The second side of that statement is saying, what I've seen, and this is true, is that when they value your value and they engage and enjoy your value, they will say thank you. Why? Because they cared, that you cared enough to have created the solution that they value. Those two things must be true. The third thing that must be true when it comes to lead generation and all of that, really, value for value, yes, right? This is so important. These are basic things this is why I try to oversimplify those things. That, again, the biggest struggle people face, they go out there and they are pitching, oh my bro, and then you start seeing this friction. There's a friction in the marketplace. Is that the reason the friction exists are several things, but one of those things also is that I call it the customer blind spot. The customer branding can help you definitely to remove that blind spot, or right, is that when the problem you're solving, if you are the entrepreneur, I'll share this and then I'll start wrapping up. If you are the entrepreneur and you are fully clear on the problem you're solving for people, please never assume that the people you are talking to, actually, they're clear about their own problems, right? It's like going to the medical doctor. You may go there with symptoms, but the doctor's job is to go deeper to understand what caused the problem, the root cause. So many times, what I've also seen is that people have problems, but they know the symptoms, they don't know what the problem is. And you, as a solution provider, part of your job is to help them diagnose, but they must really listen, right? So that's also when you're engaging and you're having a conversation, be aware with that. But branding can help you by articulating not just the problem you solve, but what you stand for, and even ultimately the transformation, the journey ahead, what it looks like, what that destination looks like. You can use your story to paint a picture of a higher ground for your people. You can say this is where you are, you can connect with them based on where they are, and you can inspire them or motivate them to what else is possible for them. Your brand can help do that, right? Nike does that for us, right? They meet people where they are in their struggle to be fit, in their struggle to exercise, in their struggles to show up for everything that they want. And Nike sends this message, you know what, this collective message, let's just do it. Why? In that one word, they connect the now and the future. And that the journey they seek to take you on, right, is to your desired future. Their tennis shoe will take you from where you are to where you actually want to be. So ultimately, if you can crystallize that message with your brand, where people are, where they want to be, and connecting that dot, right, that ultimately, right, is what we're talking about. Go ahead.
Yo, I love that you said that. It's like take them on a journey. I read this guy, Joseph Campbell. and he talks about the hero's journey. And I look at like some of these brands that you're talking about, like Nike, taking their consumer base on a journey. Look at Apple, look at all of these big brands. They take their consumer base on a journey, and a lot of us don't really consider our brands really all that important. But I say, why not? Shoot, create a universe for your brand. I love Marvel. I've been a creative ever since I can remember. But Stan Lee and all of his people and how they created that Marvel universe is so beautiful to me because they have all of these stories of characters that have their own character arcs, and it's wonderful because it's like you can't help but become captivated by all of these stories that you're being told, that you can see all of the human struggles and all that. And brands that really understand, again, their like target demographic, they understand that like their target demographic is human, so best to speak to these human qualities that our brands can have. With my platform, when we work with clients, we talk about humanizing your brand, right? Otherwise, it's like your business just is this thing that serves a need. Anybody out there can probably service that need. But why do they come to you specifically, right? Because they enjoy you. They like themselves when they're with you, right? Um, I don't know. Look at like some of the best friends in your life that you've had, right? You have enjoyed being around that person because you like how you feel when you're around them. Now, does your brand make other people feel like that? Oh, no. Okay. Maybe we got to change that. You know what I'm saying? Like, introduce this a certain level of like groundedness into your brands. This groundedness and this human characteristics that we all have because we're all human at the end of the day. But then, like, why does your brand change? Why can't your brand be human? Because that's the end goal, right? With branding, and all sorts of public relations efforts is really to better understand this human that we're looking to motivate to do an action. Um, Sometimes some people really pay attention to their brand, where then it changes like the behavior of society, not just for one generation, for generations to come. That's like some high impact brand stuff that's a lot of people are not ready for. But just basic level though, just I don't know, be the neighborhood like king or queen. Very simple. Let people know that you care for them. Put on events and activities. Connect people with resources that they need. That feeling, that good feeling that they get from you, they associate it with this thing that you're looking to build. Right? You gotta build that whole notion of building value, Toyin. It's so overused. Whenever I hear like new business professionals, I speak at like universities and high schools sometimes. So they're like teaching these kids build value, increase value, and it's like, what's value? No one knows. But it's like, oh,
Actually,
is that? It was
simple.
like,
Let me tell
you know
you.
what I mean? Though it's
You,
like,
you, you know
what
one
is
thing?
value? No
Let,
one
let me help
knows.
let me help with that. Value pretty much is anything anybody desires and wants. It doesn't matter. You can pick a stone, literally, and if you want it, it means it's valuable to you. So that's why we drill the ground in search of diamonds and gold. This is why we invest incredible resources, literally picking up stones, right, with carbon structures, and then we sell it for thousands of dollars because we impose value to it. Let me also give you another example. I talked about teaching the history of money. Literally, money is a piece of paper The same tree that produced the pulp for the piece of paper could have produced the tissue paper as well. But value is imposed to create desire. Right? So value is created to stimulate desire. And once you can make anybody desire anything, it doesn't even matter what it is, because I can totally, bottle oxygen and sell it on the Walmart store. If you want it, it's valuable. If you don't want it, it's not valuable. So valuable is this stuff that once people want something, once they desire it, it means they can exchange it for something else. But when they don't want it, when there's no desire, there's no value. And also, value is highly personal. What I value, you may not value. You may like rock music, another person may like R&B. If I offer you what you don't like, you're going to reject it. You have no value for it. If you're a spaghetti person, I'm an hamburger person. If we misplace, if we bring to you something you do not like, you will say, you know what? No, it's not valuable to me. But if I know what you like and I bring you what you love, listen, value goes up. This is why in marketing as well, that's why I said value for value. You're looking for people who value your value. This is the precision of the delivery of our message, because you can keep delivering a message to the wrong people, wrong places, and they will continue to reject it. It's not about you, it's about their own desire. They have no desire for what you are bringing to them. Your job as an entrepreneur is to go in search of the people who will similarly ascribe value to your creation. You have to tell them the story of the value with your brand. You have to impose right value. Listen, we can get a shoe and price it $800. If you agree that it's valued at $800, then you pay $800. But if you think, listen, that shoe, you shouldn't pay more than $80 for it, you will not invest $800 because you don't value that shoe at $800. But the people who believe that the red soled shoe, right, has an elevated value in like the way I look when I climb the stage, and the moment people see me with a red button, it elevates my perceived value in the room, they will totally give you the $800 to $1,000. The same thing is true in luxury, handbags, cars, is that there are many people who will not bother to agree that the car costs what it costs. So they will go for regular car. But I'm telling you, there are people that will totally say, you know what, it's that value, I agree. So what you're looking for in the marketplace is agreement on value. It's agreement, right? It's first of all, do you want this? Do you desire it? And this is okay. Let me also. I know I'm teaching. I'm sharing a lot. And ToyinUmesiri.academy is really my school. I cover all of these things. The key is that we want people to value our stuff. That's the first thing. The whole point of your story, you need to engineer desirability. You need to tell a story that is compelling, that stimulates desire. This is why even in your magnetic message, there has to be emotional like you have to make people feel something for your work. Because if they don't feel anything for your work, no passion, and it is flat, nobody will take any action in your direction. Right? Because ultimately, shoot for desire. That's the ultimate, right, emotion. Desire.
So do they want it?
Do
they want it?
Want is still.
If they don't want it, then don't sell it to them.
Well, here's the key.
I like to do that back in the day. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, well, here's the key. What I found in doing this work and doing my research is that there are some things we want, but we will not pursue. If I tell you now, do you want, I don't know what, like, There are some things I can offer to you now and you say I want it. But if I say come get it, you'll be like, you know what? Tomorrow, next year, you will not prioritize it. Desire is what we prioritize. So I make that distinction in my classes. That's why many people will
So
say...
there's a difference between want and need, though, right? So it's like,
Well,
you can want something, but
okay,
if you don't need it,
I
you're
break
not
that
as
down.
motivated.
I also break it down. There's a workbook I call How Well Do You Know Your Customers? And I put together all the definition for all these things: wants, desire, aspirations, or goals, all those things. Because there are nuance there. But okay, let me give you an example. If you have a toothache, right? You can only delay it for so long. Right? Health.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, health. Things like health or your children, right? Those things, they require immediate attention. There's no negotiation on those things, right? Urgency. You don't desire a toothache, but you are in desperate need. And we also spend money to remove, we spend money to remove extreme pain. We spend money to acquire what we desire. Here's also what happens, right? Is that depending on the spectrum of where your services or products are, if you're in the health field, this is why they scare you with the ads. Is your leg shaking? Are you like, they tell you all these extreme, they want you to be afraid. The emotion is fear. In certain fields, what they are selling is fear. Right? What they are selling is fear. They make you afraid. Right? Because it's, you move towards something, you're trying to run away from something, or you are running towards something. Right? If somebody tells you there's fire, you will run. Right? So there are some things to human that it's a must-have. Whether you like it or not, you will spend money on some things. That stuff sells itself that way. Okay? Luxury is about desire. Now, once you start moving into the world of coaching, of productivity, of creativity, listen, let me tell you, some people want it, but they don't want to labor for it. They don't want it bad enough. You want to lose weight. Do you want to lose weight? If I ask everybody, do you want to lose weight? What's the answer going to be?
Of course.
How many
Everybody
pounds?
wants to lose weight.
Okay, but guess what? Only those who are crazy enough and ready and desire it enough will go through the pain of doing the work. That's where we start getting into another world. Do you really want it enough? Right?
But
go on.
Yeah.
oh, and also, it's how you present it. That's what ties into branding. But there's something called a unique selling proposition, and when they see the value in what you're doing, that's, and you have the specific steps for your unique selling proposition, and etc. That's part of the equation also.
Absolutely. But the last mile, in retail, we call something the last mile. Like in your lead, right? Is that you get people into your funnel. Your message gets so many people in, and then in the middle, and the very last mile into conversion. Okay, on what you just said. So everything you just said, I agree, because it's moving people closer to decision. The very last mile requires people to prioritize that solution. So I'm sharing today why many people do not buy solutions. And the reason I'm sharing it is so that you counter it in your messaging, right? Is that the objections, you need to also cover that in your messaging. The reason why you're not going to buy, you need to tell them a reason to overcome that objection, right? And one of the key reasons is that many people already may agree. So there are several stages. There's problem awareness, there's solution awareness, right? Then they might even be aware of the solution, but they're shopping around, they're exploring your competition. And then there might be a time they've already agreed that it's going to be you. But guess what? The last mile, what pushes people over to take the necessary action, right? Some of it is that they've not prioritized in their own life. Something else is sitting as number one priority for them. Part of the messaging is to get them to move that desire to number one, right? Is that sometimes maybe it's budgeting. Well, this week I want to spend here, right? Part of the messaging has to be, you know what? You can't wait. This thing cannot wait anymore. Your future cannot wait, on and on. You've got to get messaging that gets people to prioritize what they want. You have to do this work for them, right? By communicating with them to say, I know what's going on in your mind right now. And I know you want this so much. And I also am empathetic to the realization that, listen, you're a busy mom, right? Or your full-time job is taking all your time. You don't know if you can commit enough time to this. You acknowledge, you meet them with all of the stuff in their mind, their struggles, and you give them a reason to override those things in their mind. But denying this reality and keep saying bye, 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 that's not working. But it's to really sit with people, to seek to understand people. And then one thing I also wanted to share is that there's a program. If you have a pen, you can grab your pen, and if you want to quickly do something like this, is that I call this customer journey. I use design thinking framework as well to teach. I call it the journey, the tales of two cities. Tales of two cities. City 1, City 2. And in between those two cities is your bridge, your solution. In branding or in storytelling, you have 3 stories to tell with the tales of two cities. And I have workbooks on this in my academy as well. Is that the first story you have to tell is the first city where people are at right now. Their struggles, their pain, on and on. You have to write a story about that. What does that feel like? What's the pain? What's the aspiration? What's the desire? What's the struggle? On and on and on. You've also got to tell a story. You have to paint a picture of the destination, right? The thriving, the fullness, the success. What does that look and feel like? The current, the struggle, the pain, where they are that they don't want to be. The next city, right, where you can take them, where they all want to be, where there's agreement that this is what we want. This is where desire is. And then the middle story is now when we start getting into your product and services. How does your product and service help close that gap? What's the story of how your product and service will take them from where they are to where they want to be, right? Those 3 stories, the moment, this is an exercise, it's a tough exercise. That's why I have a workbook and questions and different things to do, right? Is that I'm just giving you something, sit with it. How would you describe the current state of your potential clients and customers? How well do you know them? That's why I always call, how well do you know this, right? How well do you know them? Right, their mindset, their psychology, their behavior. Like, how well do you know them? This is not just about customer profile. No. You go into the mindset, the realities, right? You want to tell this story as if you're in the house with them, right? You're listening to the things they're saying. You're listening to what's on their mind. You know them so well. They're your friends, right? Your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your parents, your teachers. You know them so well. You're connected with them. What would they say to you if you were to interview them, right? You can go into the world. If you want to take this to the next level, you can conduct an interview of a group of these people and ask them to explain their current reality, right? What are they struggling with? What don't they like? Also ask them the destination. Your job now is to close the gap with your products and services. And when you can communicate these 3 stories and people trust that you're the best person to take them from here to there, this is when you start winning them over. And this is not a one-time thing. This is something you do over and over and over again, over and over and over again, over and over and over again, over and over, right? You do it over and over again. But those 3 stories will start opening the hearts and minds of people to you. Because guess what? If you can tell them, you see them, they'll be like, what? Are you in my head? That was what I said to my friend yesterday. My, you know me so well. That's trust. That's trust, right? You want to speak their language. You want to see them, know them. You want to build trust. And when I was talking also about the blind spot is that many times, the solution, what you are trying to solve for, there's actually lack of awareness on the side of the people. So for example, in entrepreneurship, right? Many people are struggling. But when the moment I say you're struggling because you don't know what you're doing, they go, I don't know what you're doing. I'm like, let me share with you. It's a skill. And you need to develop a skill and become a master. And once you master this subject, you can get the results you're looking for. And they go, what? I'm like, yeah, so that's why you need to enroll. That's why you need to learn fast instead of fail fast. And I tell them, failing fast is like someone telling you, right? It's like people telling you, jump off the cliff without a parachute. That's why businesses fall. And I say passion is not a substitute for skill experience. It's not. You can be passionate about your business and listen, smack on the floor. Right? It's like you see somebody swimming, it looks easy, you fail to learn how to swim, you jump into the ocean, listen, failure. That's failure. That's what failure looks like. Failure looks like, right? You don't have the skills to do what it is you're trying to do. But one of the things I also try to explain to distinguish, we need to start using the word experimentation. Because many times what people are trying to communicate when they say fail fast, it's not really failure. Failure is not what we want, because in my book, I say, listen, we don't ask our lawyers to fail. We don't ask our accountants to fail. We don't ask our doctors and surgeons and pilots to fail. Never, never, never. Why are we asking entrepreneurs to fail? Why? You bear all the consequences of your own failure. Right? But what people are trying to communicate, and they're not using the right words, is experiment. Learn what, right? Experimentation is the practice of testing what's going to work and what's not going to work. That is a different mindset. The intentionality behind experimentation is more awesome. It feels better than fail fast. I tell you, the people who tell you to fail fast, they don't love you. They don't love you. Because you will bear 100% of the consequences of failure, the sleepless nights, the health risks. You and your family bear all that. So it's easy. It's a cheap offer for people to tell you fail fast. The expensive offer is learn fast. Go to school. Learn the skills. Become a doctor. That's what I offer. That's why I dedicate myself to this work. Right? And again, I'm just using this as an example. Is that people may know the symptoms, but the underlying problem of why there's stress, why there's pain, why there's confusion, why there's lack of results, right? People may not know why they're struggling. You know why? Because somebody out there on Instagram and social media told them it will be easy. So they assume entrepreneurship is easy. And then they start it and realize, ooh, it's not as easy as I thought. Swimming is not as easy. Flying is not as easy. Somebody lied to them. Somebody has lied that entrepreneurship is easy. And very soon, I say first time entrepreneurs make a lot of assumptions. Very, very soon the market will call you out. No. Thank you so much to those who have joined. What do you guys think as I'm wrapping up now? Thank you.
It's a pleasure. Appreciate you, my sister. Thank you so much for having me. Guys, what a pleasure. I connected with all of y'all. So yeah, and I'm going to come back again. I'm trying to come in here and there with Clubhouse, but I appreciate you just being consistent in what you do, my sister.
Thank you. Listen, this is it for me. I pick the lane that delights me, makes sense for me, I'm passionate about, and beyond just entrepreneurship, I live in a world where we talk about economic development. So whether it's national government, looking at trade policies, I roll in that world as well. And one of the reasons I'm passionate about entrepreneurship is really the transformation, right, that this can give birth to when we educate ourselves. And what I bring to you really are big business strategies, right? Serving Fortune 1, the biggest company in the world, sitting on boards and doing all these things. I see a lot, and trust me, I know. I don't promise. My promise to the market, I'm not here saying I'm a dentist or a lawyer. None of that. I've not dedicated myself to study any of those things. But what I have studied, right, I've dedicated myself is entrepreneurship. I have a book about that. I have a TV show for that. I've developed a school for that. I train people. Last year, I had the privilege of working with United Nations to train entrepreneurs from 38 African countries. I do that here in America. I do that in Africa as well. So for me, this is it, meaning I bring my business skills, my passion, I bring it to the marketplace. That's my own offer. And listen, I show up for me because on my own journey of self-discovery, of exceptionalism, of creativity, right? And this is why there's another side of me when I do mindset coaching and wealth creation mindset, is that ultimately entrepreneurship.
We gotta connect on that, by the way, before I forget. I did a UN project, and have a huge interest in doing work in Africa. Yeah. Right now, we have a project in Kenya and Nigeria. I'd love to pick your brain about, but like an academy to like create more youngsters, in the freelance market. Mm-hmm. So we'll talk a little bit more.
Yeah, check out my company. Yeah, check out my company, Nazaru.com, Nazaru.com. So my international trade work sits in that side, and then my entrepreneurship work sits, right? It's my own personal drive and passion of bringing myself. So definitely check it out. You can also see more details in my profile as well. Definitely. So yeah, my passion for entrepreneurship really makes me show up. I mean, I love it. And I see the impact and I see the transformation. And when it comes to the mindset work as well, it's a journey of self-discovery, because entrepreneurship is the highest, fullest expression. This is what I believe. It's the expression of human creativity and productivity. And the person that wants to create, the person that wants to produce, you've got to go on a journey, right, to discover your own skills, talent, your own unique fingerprint. And there's more power. I'm not saying you can make money doing many things. But if you want to feel freedom of expression, drive maximum impact, your greatness is tied to you, right, becoming great inside of you and owning your power and unleashing that in the world. It's another level of showing up in the world for me. And it's just different. It's another level. It's not just about money, right? Money is the reward for doing this work. When people agree with you, that they value your value and they care that you care, and they are willing to exchange their value for your value, and you reach enough people. Because one of the things I also teach about marketing is a thing of probability, right? Statistics. I have a first degree in mathematics. Is that if you want to sell 1,000 widgets and you understand the conversions of your website, right? Then you want to see how many people do you need to reach if your website converts at 2%, 3%, 5%, 10%, right? So at the end of the day, the reason you want to broadcast your message as widely as possible is so that you increase your chances of reaching as many people that will agree with you, that they value your value and they care that you care. So don't fish in a small pond, literally, right? You want to go for the blue ocean. You want to nurture and grow your community. You want to serve your community, and then you want to do life with them. And out of that, definitely, you want to express the solution that you can offer to them. And remember, as I'm wrapping up today, right? Branding, 3 questions. I definitely have programs on it, but I'm keeping it simple to say, who are you? What do you do? And what can you do for me? Thank you so much, everyone. And the link up above is to my business school and academy. At the end of the day, creativity requires us to bring our strengths together, right? And to collaborate based on those whose strengths can strengthen us, because it's about a mission, is that we want to attract people that will go on that journey with us, right? That would offer their strengths to propel the mission forward, right? So definitely entrepreneurship it's a fascinating subject for me to have studied. I have my book, Mindset of an Entrepreneur, Strategy, Skills, and Mindset for Achieving Business Growth and Success. And in my school as well, the very first week of the 10-week accelerator, we dive into the world of mindset. We spend 5 hours on mindset, and there are programs there. One of it is the game plan, 12 strategies for winning in life and business. And it covers really the adoption of a wealth creator mindset. And it also comes with a workbook that takes about 2 hours to complete. And it does dive into personal discipline, daily discipline, right? Strengths, weaknesses. There's also one thing I always ask is that now what? Now that you've spent the hour with me, now that you've heard everything I've shared, if you don't decide to change something, right, start something new, stop something that is no longer working and continue what is working, guess what happens? There's zero transformation offered. Is that many people spend countless amounts of time acquiring information, but transformation begins when you decide to change, when you decide to adopt, when you decide to learn, when you decide to do something and gain skill in what you heard. And this is why content itself is not the solution. The action you're going to take, the thinking that you'll go on, what you will tell your mind, right, is actually more important than hours and hours and hours of content consumption. That's why in my room, what I offer is impact and transformation. And that's why I challenge my listeners to do something different, right? Because when you do something different, you learn something new. And when you learn something new, guess what? You can start seeing different results. And when you don't change and you don't acquire new skills and you don't explore and you don't take action, you stay in the same spot, even though you load yourself up with tons of information, right? Because again, the tales of two cities, you're where you are right now, and you have a desired destination. Until you cross the bridge, until you follow a specific process, you're still on this side. And this is the saddest thing to watch, is that 1 year, 2 years goes by, people stay on this side. Action is what gets you closer to the results that you desire. So I want you to walk away with that today. And thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. Check out the link up above. Tons of resources, over 300 resources in my academy, toyinumesibi.academy. That's my first name, last name, .academy. Put that in the browser and it will take you directly to the landing welcome page. God bless you all. See you and thank you so much. Bye.